And there you have it, a finished flare. Welcome back to Made by J&D. I apologize for the sound quality. My regular lapel mic just stopped working. They're not talking to each other, the transmitter and the receiver. So I've just got the standard little microphone attached to the top of the camera, and I hope you can hear it all right. Today, or this episode, is just going to be a short how-to on using the Mastercool flaring tool. I've done all the brake lines and the power steering with this tool. It works really well with the standard brake line. And I haven't tried it on stainless. I have tried it on a coated kind of line that you can get from NiCop. It's got kind of a dark green coating. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of anti-corrosion. This tool hates it. It will work if you're lucky. It just couldn't grip onto that tubing. And that was 3/8 tubing. A lot of the brake lines that you use are going to be a 1/4 inch or 3/16 tubing, and that was for power steering. It's a bigger tubing. Based on that experience, I don't know how it would go with stainless steel because it's hard to grip too. I'm going to be going from here to there for no other reason than this is just a straight piece of pipe. And I'm thinking it might need an expansion loop. I'm going to put one in. And it's a good opportunity right now to show you how I've learned to use this Mastercool. And I hope it all goes smoothly. It seems like every time I try to do an instructional video, something goes wrong. I forget a tool. I forget to put the thing in the right sequence. Now let's see if I can get this done the right way. Like I've said, this is 1/4 inch. It looks like a galvanized steel on the outside, and it's got a copper lining. This is not the NiCop or nickel copper line that you can get. I haven't tried that, and I haven't tried stainless. In earlier videos, I was commenting on what materials you can use on brake lines and power steering lines because of the pressure more than anything. I had read somewhere that you don't want to use brass or copper. Well, copper is a definite no-no. Brass, you can get brass brake line fittings, which, it doesn't seem to go with what I heard. And this is a steel fitting. The ends, the tubing nuts are steel fittings. And those are readily available. You can pretty much get them anywhere. But when you have a union between lines, there was a place I'd gone to the power steering, and I could not find anywhere in town. I had to order them. I found a steel union that goes between the two tubing nuts. I don't think that's because steel is recommended for a union in particular, or that it's just cheaper. Something my brother suggested to me. When you go to Napa parts stores, they're going to sell you a brass union. And you can easily get the steel tubing nuts though, and that'll screw into it just fine. But I do want to say that compression fittings where you have a little piece of slip on and it compresses down onto the tubing, definite no-no for this kind of line. If you go to some really high-tech stainless, I can't remember the name right now, you can get some very high-pressure fittings, lines made. They don't use flaring. They use a compression fitting, but it's very high-tech, specialized. You wouldn't use it on a brake line in any case. So I'm just saying, though, you can't use a brass plumbing compression fitting for this job. And the reason I'm saying brass is probably okay. This is an original T-piece. This comes from the front, goes into the top, branches out to the left and right. This is brass from the factory, 1976. So that's why I'm saying brass is okay in this case. Right, there's my tube. Now I'm going to copy that, but on this end I'm going to put a little expansion loop, and it'll do two things. Right now I've got this kind of bent down. I'm going to come out and do a loop, and then that'll take care of that little step down. I have to salvage this piece, this nut, tubing nut. I always thought you could only get this in long straight lengths, but no, apparently it comes in coils, and this is because I've never really done this except decades ago. I helped my dad do some stuff, and it was always in certain lengths. But it comes in a coil. It means you've got to straighten it. This is the easiest way I've found is get it close. It's still got a memory, you still have to get it all the way straight. This works pretty good. Okay, that'll do for now. I make you can even make things that will straighten this tubing out nice and straight. If you're doing a show vehicle or something, you probably wouldn't use this tubing anyway. But they make a roller device that you run this through a series of rollers and it straightens it right out. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is put the flare on. The big thing with flaring is always put the tubing nut on first. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. All right, this is the end. It's going to go into this fitting here. Put it in, don't put it on backwards. Okay, this is your Mastercool. Comes with these two things for making a double flare or a inverted flare. This is the first one. It has a little pin on the end that starts the bubble on the end, and then this cone makes it flare. The other part is these two dies, one on each side. This is 1/4 inch, and there's several different die sets that you can get with this kit, or that come with the kit. This kind of a recess goes toward the fitting that I'll put in here. There's a little flip over thing here which helps you set the length of the tubing, how far it sticks out. Flip that over, hold that there, try to get the tubing through. This can be taken off, this little bar here, and this has got, use a 7/16 or 1/2 inch, I'm not sure, I think it's 7/16. You can use a wrench on this part if you need to. But really, I found this works well enough. Okay, I'm pushing the tubing through against this part I'm holding with my thumb. I'm also holding these dies down in there tight. Tighten, pretty good. That's enough. Flip that back over. Okay, I'm putting on the one with the pin. And then I've got to screw this in. Till it stops. Now on the back here I'm going to tighten that little valve that allows me to pressure up. Doesn't take much, just a couple of pumps. And then release. Something I've had to learn to do is not go all the way tight with that. There we go. I have to pull this back out a little bit to get this first little fitting out. And I put in the cone. I'll take this out and show you what's happened right now. The process so far has given me this nice little bubble on the end. What I'm going to do next is with the cone, and press the cone, the flare will make the flare. I've only taken these dies out of here because I wanted to show what the process was so far. Okay, I've got the cone in there. I just pressed this again. I've tightened down the little valve. A little bit of pressure there. Meet resistance, good enough. Release that. Release this part. And there you have it, a finished flare. So here's the stuff up from before. What I'm going to use this for now is measure how far it's from here to here. I measured that, that's 10 inches. So this tubing, I'm going to measure from where this needs to be outside the frame, or on the inside of the frame. I've got to measure over 10 inches, and that's where I'm going to start my bend for this 2 3/8 tubing. a different diameter will need a different length. It's 10 inches. This little nut, make sure it's over here because you won't get it around the corner. Once I make this bend, that nut won't go around. So I'm going to start it here and just go easily around it here. It's nice in a straight line. Okay, here's my expansion loop. Because I've tied it to the other end there, and I've got that expansion loop, I feel safe in just eyeballing this, about this length. And if I'm off by a little bit, it doesn't matter because the expansion loop is going to allow me to move this, jog it in and out a little bit. So let me make my mark. Just eyeball it. If I were really worried about length, I'd allow about 1/8 of an inch. If that's the mark to, because this is inset a little bit. And it has to go inside and then the flare will take up a little bit. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Just cut this here. The Mastercool came with the tubing cutter and it's a nice little one, but I prefer this one. This came with the yellow jacket, because it's just nice to operate. See, that's about the right length. And I can make up that distance with that expansion loop on the other end, or I can actually push it the other way. Now, before you go any further, put on your tubing nut. They make another tool. Mastercool has competition. I think Eastwood makes a pretty nice looking little lever operated flaring tool, and it may actually make better flares or work with that coated tubing or stainless steel tubing better, but this one is portable. I don't have to take it to a vise, or I don't have to worry about leverage and all that. This is hydraulic, so it's very easy to use. That's all ready to go. Pump until I feel some resistance. There we go. Oop, not that. This one. Now put in the flare. Crank that down. Again, pump it until I feel some resistance. That's good. Retract. Release, and we have it on flare. This job is done. Thanks for watching. If you've liked this video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you next time.